I'm Temple Queen of the Place to Be Reviews, here with all of you. Hello, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You know what that signature sound means. It is Saturday morning. We are going to dive into WandaVision episode 5 on a very special episode. So without further ado, let's get into this show, shall we? Since we're still in the decade of the 80s here on WandaVision, we get that nice little establishing shot from the outside of the house, that sitcom trope that we all grew so used to in the 80s. Well, I say all of us who are old enough to remember those sitcoms from the 80s or have watched them on Netflix. We join the show with Billy and Tommy crying, Wanda and Vision rocking the kids, trying to put them to sleep. They're not going to sleep. And then she tries to use her magic on them, which does not work, which maybe Wiccan is kind of countering her magic with his own unknowingly already. Then we get the first appearance of Agnes this episode, and she comes over to help with the babies. Now, she sprays them with lavender as Vision and Wanda are talking, and I was kind of wondering, being as she is a witch, if this has some sort of effect on them. We will kind of see how that unfolds moving forward. But yeah, the moment where she kind of breaks kayfabe to me and asks if they want her to take it from the top really is telling about what's going on in Vision. His confusion is visible.
Do you want me to take that again?
The exchange here between Vision, Wanda, and Agnes is very telling of what's going on with the confusion level of Vision. Agnes is kind of afraid that she's made Wanda mad and asks her if she wants her to come in again. And, well, just check it out here.
Should we just take it from the top?
And Wanda has to play it off to both Agnes and Vision that it's just kind of a joke and they're laughing about it. Then she pulls them aside to kind of explain it to him, and they're look, you keep going back to Agnes for the cutaway comedy bits of her with the babies, and here's the still of her. So, you know, lavender is supposed to have a calming effect. I'm just wondering if it's something else in that, not lavender. We jump to the next scene and we see Tommy and Billy have aged themselves up, or somebody has aged them up, as Wanda and Vision thought they were asleep, and turn around and boom, you hear, "Mommy, Daddy?" And maybe it's just me, but Agatha's next line is dripping with a lot of subtext.
Kids. Can't control them.
The opening credit sequence, an obvious homage to the classic 80s sitcom Family Ties, but I also saw a slight nod in there to Full House with the picnic sequence in the park during that opening as well, which I liked. And then, of course, the nightmare fuel that is baby Vision. We join Monica. She's on a table. She's had some x-rays done, and the results aren't showing up, which we think could be the beginning of her power set beginning to manifest itself because of what she endured while under the spell of Wanda. Agent Wu, Captain Rambeau, and Darcy all join Director Hayward in a briefing of the Sword upper echelon here as they're coming up with their tactical strategy. Agent Wu then gives his knowledge and background on Wanda from her time in Sokovia being radicalized by Hydra, talks about her power set, and then Director Hayward makes a comment about Wanda and regarding the Avengers and their nicknames, as it were.
Does Maximoff have an alias?
No, sir.
No funny nickname?
Hayward then remarks to Wu that earliest tracking had her using her powers against the Avengers, am I right? And Wu says, well, yes, but then she changed and she gained their trust and became part of the Avengers.
Right before she earned their trust and became one herself.
Hayward then goes into detail about Lagos, saying, well, Lagos, we all know how that turned out, and that bridges into the commercial from this week, which was Lagos paper towels. And the Lagos paper towels commercial, I just want to play that last line because it is so on the nose to what happened in Lagos with Wanda when she tried to control the bomb.
Lagos, for when you make a mess, you didn't mean to.
You can tell that Hayward's trying to mobilize force against Wanda as he shows her breaking into the top secret Sword lab where they had the Vision's body, and he talks about the Vision's living will, saying that he didn't want to be resuscitated because he wanted nobody to use him as a weapon. Another sitcom trope, the kids find a dog, and they are not sure that they're going to be able to keep it because Wanda says you have to be older. And the only reason I mention this scene is because we get another Billy and Tommy age-up sequence here that happens so quick. And this is really telling to where they're going to go and how they're going to develop these two characters to move forward and probably place them into the Young Avengers. Monica takes Agent Wu's gun and tests a theory about the properties of transference, as she was wearing Kevlar when she went into the town of Westview, and her clothes turn to Kevlar as she shoots them a few times and finds out that they are indeed bulletproof. SWORD has launched another drone into the town of Westview, and we get some footage from inside the drone, and then we get the aerial view of it. Snap back to Monica, and Hayward is watching her as she's in control of it. Darcy is kind of monitoring what Wanda's doing, and Jimmy Woo, they're there, and you can see that Wanda notices the drone as they fly it right up to her, as Monica wants to make contact under the direction of Hayward, of course. So you can tell by the pictures I'm showing here, Wanda is not amused that this drone has made its way in, and I love the attempts to contact her and to, you know, kind of talk to her. You can just tell she's like having none of it. It is clear that Hayward has some ulterior motives, but here's the short clip of Monica trying to make contact with Wanda.
Wanda, this is Captain Monica Rambeau. Can you hear me?
Oh yeah, she hears you. She just doesn't want to hear you or anything that you have to say because you are invading her perfect reality with Vision and the children. After Wanda usurps control of the drone from Monica, Hayward sees this and automatically orders another agent of SWORD that is in the room that has controls over the weapons function on the drone to take the shot, as it was equipped with a missile by Hayward and under his instruction, unbeknownst to Captain Rambeau.
Disregard. Take the shot.
What?
We can see the shooter in the background here. Monica remarks that the drone isn't armed, and we see Scarlet Witch growing increasingly angry. Monica again says, "What? Why?" And Hayward orders to take the shot, but by the time that the shot is taken, well, you can see here, Scarlet Witch, or Wanda, has scrambled the drone, and Monica says, "What did you do?" as an alarm sounds over the base.
What did you do?
There's a breach, sir.
And after that alarm is sounded, we are taken out to the perimeter of Westview, where they have that observation, all those lights set up so they can see where the barrier is. And I love this scene. You know, you kind of see all the SWORD agents assembling. Wu and Darcy are out there. Monica's out there. Hayward running right in the middle of all these agents in their AR-15s or M16s, whatever those are. I couldn't really tell from that shot. Pointed out there was kind of like, okay, so you're not going to take more of an observation position? His willingness to walk all the way up to the front lines like that really speaks volumes about what his motivations are, because he knows exactly who's coming through that barrier. I'm sorry, but you have no doubt in your mind, you just shot a missile at Wanda, and you think she's just going to stand there and take that after she cut your drone off? That was the whole thing about Wanda's entrance and breaking through the barrier, exiting Westview. She came out with a purpose. I mean, you have all these SWORD agents with their guns drawn on her. They just fired a missile at her. Hayward's rushing himself up to the front, and the way they shot this, it's the effects. It looks so neat, and we cut away to Wu and Darcy as they're just kind of watching in awe as Wanda just all of a sudden just becomes clearly visible. And of course, Monica is going to try to talk her down. But what else I thought was really neat here was, as we see in these next couple shots, the energy still surrounding the drone after Wanda removed it from Westview. It's just kind of a neat little shot, you know, in effect that they put in there as we see the standoff from the overhead view here, which Wanda's about to return something that belongs to them.
Is this yours?
This scene's great because you could really see the fear and the shock in Hayward and Rambeau, and then Hayward tries to make this half-assed excuse and kind of a weak apology to Wanda for what happened.
The missile was just a precaution.
You serious?
I just love the scene because Wanda just walks up to him like a boss and just proceeds to lay down the verbal and veritable gauntlet to Hayward.
This will be your only warning. Stay out of my home.
You know, and Hayward kind of admonishes her for taking an entire town hostage. You know, he says, just, I wish staying out of your home was that easy. And Wanda says, well, you're the one with the guns, director. You know, and then he reiterates, you know, you've taken an entire town hostage, Wanda. You know, what would you have us do here? Monica's then going to try to attempt to make contact, talk to Wanda, and Wanda is still a little sore. She's not having it, of course.
You're still here.
Monica's telling Wanda, you trust me, I delivered your babies, I was there for you, I can help you, just tell me what you want. And I love Wanda's response to Monica, and it's directed to her and Hayward as well.
I have what I want.
Wanda's next line is basically Stone Cold Steve Austin saying, and that's the bottom line.
And no one will ever take it from me again.
And the next bit is really great too, because it's just her kind of showing off at this point and telling Hayward, look, I gave you my conditions, now leave me alone. If I've got that many laser sights pointed at me, I'm going to be freaking out too. And with that, Wanda just turns around, simply walks away without saying or doing anything else. All the laser sights are then drawn off of Director Hayward, and Monica and all them just kind of stand back and just watch her walk up to the force field, make her way through it by using her chaos. This is the chaos magic that we have come to know from Scarlet Witch. But yeah, this was a really cool scene, and I just love the effects they use on this. And we have the scene with the death of the puppy after eating some of Agnes's bushes. And the only reason that I bring this up is because one of the boys mentioned something to Wanda about her being able to fix things.
You can fix anything, Mom.
And this line is ultra important because it really shows that the boys are aware of their mother's power set and may even have some grasp on the fact that they have them as well. Agnes's surprised reaction to the fact that Wanda can resurrect the dead, or so the boys think, is sort of shocking to me, because I would have thought she was completely aware of Wanda's powers, given as she's basically a substitute for Agatha Harkness. Wanda then tells the boys that we can't just speed up aging because it's convenient, and we can't reverse death. There are rules in life. In true sitcom fashion, Dad shows up, Vision, and the boys are pleading with her, you said families forever, bring them back, you can reverse death. And Vision says, who died? And then, he realized it was Dog, and he's comforting his sons, and it's a nice little touching scene. But we see Wanda kind of like, oh God, what am I doing? What have I done? That emotional roller coaster ride going on in her head. Vision finally confronts Wanda about everything that's going on, what he's realized is happening, what she's doing to him. She tries to play it off, but then he comes clean and says, I talked to Norm, explaining what happened at his office with his coworker and how he was able to free him of Wanda's spell. And Norm told Vision that he was in pain because she was in my head.
You can't control me the way you do that.
Then we get that really cool standoff scene in the living room where Vision kind of raises up and tells her to stop lying, and she responds in the kind by flying right up next to him. Vision then demands to know what is outside of Westview. Wanda says, you don't want to know, which I believe leads to this leaked image that we saw of him trying to escape through the energy field, but getting pulled back in, obviously. The crux of Vision's argument is that he can't remember his life before Westview. He doesn't really know who he is, and he's scared, and Wanda says, you're my husband, isn't that enough? Vision asks her why there are no other children in Westview. He said he walks by the playground every day on his way to work, and it's empty, and he wants to know why. And he implores with her and tells her, you know what you're doing here is wrong, Wanda. You know this is wrong. But that conversation is cut short by a moment that I'm sure some viewers really liked. I myself was one that included in that. Evan Peters is Quicksilver. Pietro Maximoff, as it were, makes his entrance, and is this real or is this some kind of plant by Sword is my question.
Long lost bro, get to squeeze his stinking sister to death or what?
And that's basically how the episode ends. Darcy remarks that Wanda recast Pietro because Aaron Taylor Johnson was Quicksilver in the MCU in Age of Ultron, as we know, and that's where we leave it off this week, folks. So my final thoughts on this episode are, it was very cool, it was very telling. We see just the scope of Wanda's power and influence over these people. We see she's making them kind of crack a little bit, like Agnes with the, do you want me to take it again? Should we do this from the top? And then Norm, Vision breaking the spell for a moment on him saying he's in great pain. And this harkens us back to what the Avengers said. After she had possessed their minds, they felt grief and sorrow, and it was just like a darkness. So this is gonna end very cool. We've got episode 6, 7, 8, 9. We got 4 episodes left. I want to hear all the theories in the comments below. I am so excited to hear what you guys think. I'm sorry if this seems a little bit long, but I want to break these down to you guys very specifically and give you my thoughts and my takes on the scenes and throw in little clips here and there. But if these reviews are too long for you guys, if you want me to shorten them, also let me know in the comments below. Remember to do all the YouTube things, and until the next one, I'm Itepo Queen of the Place to Be Reviews. I've been here with all of yous, and remember, if I don't see you, have a great day, a pleasant tomorrow, and I'll catch you on the next one.